Fresno State vs Washington State. The Cougars had their 3-game winning streak snapped by the Huskies in their last game. They will try to bounce back from the loss with a win over the Bulldogs, which will give them their 4th win in their last 5 games. Washington State is averaging 28.1 points per game. They are throwing for 263.5 yards and rushing for 112.3 yards per game. Cameron Ward completed 63% of his passes for 322 yards and 2 touchdowns in the loss to the Huskies. Nakia Watson had 15 carries for 73 yards and 1 touchdown, while Robert Farrell had 4 catches for 71 yards and 1 touchdown. Washington State will be shorthanded for this game with receivers Donovan Ali and Deshaun Stribling, as well as linebackers Travion Brown and Francisco Maigoa, entering the transfer portal. They will also be without linebacker Dayan Henley and receiver Renard Bell, who will sit out the game. Cooper Mathers, undisclosed, is questionable for this game. They also lost both their offensive and defensive coordinators, who have accepted jobs with other schools, leaving head coach Jake Dickert to call the team's defensive plays for this game. It is unclear who will call plays on offense. The Bulldogs managed to bounce back from a 1-4 start to the season to finish with 9 wins, thanks to an 8-game winning streak to close out the season. They will try to keep the momentum going with a win over the Cougars, which will give them their 9th win in a row and 4th consecutive bowl win. Fresno State is averaging 30.3 points per game. They are throwing for 269.8 yards and rushing for 125.2 yards per game. Jake Heener completed 63% of his passes for 184 yards and 1 touchdown in the win over the Broncos. Jordan Mims had 25 carries for 83 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Nico Remigio had 5 catches for 68 yards. The Bulldogs will be without DB Cale Sanders, who has entered the transfer portal. The Bulldogs have won 8 straight games. They have played well offensively, scoring more than 30 points per game. They don't run the ball well, but they have a very good passing game that is 27th in the country. The Cougars are one of the worst teams in the country when it comes to defending the pass, and they played worse in their last 3 games, giving up more than 350 passing yards per game. They will be shorthanded with 3 of their top 6 tacklers not playing in this game, so expect them to have a hard time slowing down the Bulldogs. The Cougars lost 3 of their last 7 games. They also have a good offense, but they struggled away from home, scoring a little more than 24 points per game. Like the Bulldogs, they don't run the ball and have had a lot of success throwing it with the 35th best passing game in the country. Unfortunately for them, the Bulldogs have the 17th best pass defense in the country and held their last 3 opponents under 180 passing yards per game, so don't expect them to have a hard time slowing down the Cougars. Go with Fresno State to cover the spread. Our team pick is Fresno State Bulldogs minus 3.5 points. Neither club dazzled on the offensive end this season, instead opting for ball control and minimal turnovers. The Bulldogs' ability to limit the run will be key here. Although they are giving up over 155 rushing yards per game, much of that came when they were gouged to a 1-4 record facing elite teams. Fresno State has won 3 straight bowl games, including 2 of them under Jeff Tedford. It's his first season back at the helm after coaching the program from 2017 to 2019. He won the 2017 Hawaii Bowl over Houston and the 2018 Las Vegas Bowl over Arizona State. So the staff has some experience in these types of games, and the defense will ball out. They were stout defensively, especially after their tough stretch in September, giving up less than 21 points per game and under 200 passing yards. Take the under 53 points here. Today we're taking a look at these NCAAF matches, which are happening on Saturday, December 17, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. Also, check out our perks and join the High Stakes membership. Joining the High Stakes membership is easy, is cheap, but it will help a lot in the growth process of this channel. Plus, if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the high stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comments section below. And make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Oregon State vs Florida. Miller is the great unknown in this matchup. He will literally be taking his first snaps of the season and doing so with a depleted wide receiver group. Miller has had several weeks to work with the first team, and Napier has a solid track record working with offenses. Expect the Gators to lean heavily on their ground attack and take some shots downfield against the 84th ranked Oregon State pass defense. Oregon State will most certainly pound the ball against Florida's 98th ranked rush defense. I like getting 10.5 points in this game with 2 teams that are not particularly dominant in the red zone. Oregon State is ranked just 99th in red zone efficiency this season, while the Gators are just 115th in red zone efficiency. Another key to Florida staying in this game is the team's 16th ranked turnover differential, compared with Oregon State, ranked just 91st in the country in turnover differential. Both teams have the motivation to win this game, but I like the Gators coming out of a stronger conference and with a motivation to get over .500 for the season, with over 10 points to work with. Take Florida plus 10.5 points. This total originally opened at 56 points, so this has been beaten down by 3.5 points, and that is definitely significant. Even without Anthony Richardson on the field, the Gators should be able to put points on the board, as Richardson did not have an outstanding season and have a solid running back in Montrell Johnson Jr. to make the offense go better. Looking at the offenses in the last handful of games, Florida is scoring 35.3 points in their previous 4 games, while Oregon State is averaging 35.7 points in their last 3 games. The over has hit in 9 of the last 11 Beavers games played on grass, as well as in 8 of the previous 10 December games for the Gators. Our second pick is to go with over 52.5 points in this game as well. Rice vs Southern Miss. It's hard to love either side, but as skeptical as I am about Rice, I am even more skeptical about laying a touchdown with Southern Miss. Outside of a loss to FAU this season, Rice's losses all have been against explosive offenses: USC, Houston, Charlotte, Western Kentucky, UTSA, North Texas. Southern Miss is just 112th in the nation, averaging 4.7 yards per play this season, compared to Rice, which is 79th, averaging 5.3 yards per play. Now Southern Miss does hold an edge defensively, but they also have faced a little bit of a weaker schedule than Rice as well, 111th versus 85th, according to ESPN. Rice has beaten Southern Miss outright in the last 2 seasons and are the better play getting points here. Our first pick is Rice Owls plus 6.5 points. The Owls struggled down the stretch. Rice lost their last 3 games and they were blown out in 2 of those 3 matchups. Their quarterback got hurt, and freshman A.J. Padgett struggled after coming in against the University of Northern Texas. The Golden Eagles also had a disappointing end to their season. SMU started the year 5-3, but they finished 1-3. Southern Miss comes into this bowl game with a 6-6 record. The Golden Eagles also switched quarterbacks late in the year. Junior quarterback Trey Lowe started the final 4 games of the season, and he is expected to start the bowl game as well. Southern Miss started 3 different quarterbacks this season. Southern Miss's quarterback play was very inconsistent this year, and so was their offensive line. A.J. Padgett was better in his first full start with an extra week to prepare, but Rice's offense still doesn't stretch the field much, and Southern Miss hasn't been able to move the ball consistently all year. The Golden Eagles went through 3 quarterbacks this season and plan to start Trey Lowe, a junior who was very inconsistent in all 4 of his starts this season. Southern Miss's offensive line was also a problem for the team this year. Both teams will likely look to run the ball and have a conservative game plan to take pressure off their quarterbacks. This should be a lower scoring game. Our second pick is to go under 46.5 points.